all, I'm Lisa from Trails Edge Astrology, and today I wanted to hop on and do some tarot readings for rising signs for this beautiful new moon in Gemini that will happen tomorrow. I'm recording this on Wednesday, June 5th, and the new moon is on the 6th. So why am I excited about this new moon? Let's talk about that first, and then we'll get into the tarot readings. So, of course, the new moon is always the sun and moon coming together, and they're coming together in the sign of Gemini. And Gemini is all about communications and curiosity and thoughts and ideas and playfulness and just fun. Um, this new moon is also conjunct Venus, and if you heard me talk a little bit about this earlier this week, that adds kind of a relationship quality to things, or a sweetness, or really just brings in some really delicious lovely explorations of maybe our values or our sense of self-worth related to our communication and our curiosity and all of the Gemini things. So we have the new moon, which is always exciting. We add Venus in there, which just adds a really beautiful sensual flavor to it. We also had a Mercury Jupiter conjunction this week, which kind of amps up our ability to bridge the gap between vision and ideas. I think I called it curiosity and optimism idealized, or I had better words for it. But it's that idea of just that curiosity and the optimism and the abundance all there in that Gemini space in your chart. And then we have a square to Saturn coming in. Saturn's in Pisces, so any of those Gemini planets are coming into square Saturn, and I think that gives it some stability. Gemini can be a little, kind of like go with the flow. Um, Squirrel is what comes to mind. It can be just kind of like focus on whatever's in front of you at any given moment because everything's interesting. Um, and Pisces, Saturn in Pisces is not like terribly rule bound or strict, but Saturn, no matter where it is, always gives some grounding and stability and just some wholesome some discipline, I guess is the word I want to use. So there's just a lot of really cool energy, and coming off of the Jupiter Uranus conjunction, I think this might be the time when we start to plant the seeds and get our feet under us. So yeah, I'm really excited about this lunar cycle. The way we work with moons is on the new moon, we might invite in some intentions, we might see what's coming up in our bodies, see what we're feeling, and we build until the full moon, and then we'll have a full moon in the middle of the month, and that's kind of an illumination point, a point where we might see things we hadn't seen before, and then we wind down the lunar cycle, and we start to figure out how to integrate and what stays and what goes and all those kinds of things. So over the course of the next month, we'll have a chance to work with all of this energy that I just described. There's also another way to look at lunar cycles, which is a 2.5 year cycle. Um, so really, whatever's being planted now, I think, has the opportunity to reverberate um, for the long haul, and it's nice energy. A square to Saturn isn't always our favorite, but I really think with all the Gemini playfulness and curiosity and the Jupiterian optimism, that square to Saturn is going to be mostly about figuring out how to ground and stabilize whatever we're planning. So what we're going to do is I will go through rising signs, and I'll talk about where this new moon's going to be for you, and then we'll pull some cards. We are going to pull from the Arcanis Animal Tarot. So this is it's kind of a fun deck. So we'll do Animal Tarot, and then we're going to pull our guidance from the Wild Mystic deck, which is also an animal deck. So we'll pull our guidance from the universe from that deck. And again, always nice. I think these two pair really nicely together. So that is our plan. So with that, let's move on to Aries. So Aries rising folks. This new moon is going to be in your third house. And so your third house is about communications, thinking, perceiving. It can be about everyday ritual. It can be about the familiar. Sometimes it's about early childhood education or like local education, those kinds of things. It can be siblings, it can be neighbors. So any of those kinds of issues um, might come up for you during this new moon, or might be ripe for you to explore in this part of your chart. So in terms of cards, um, for you, we pulled the Ace of Pentacles as your opportunity for this time period. And the Ace of Pentacles is about some kind of um, new kind of seeding or planting of something in the material world. So some kind of business idea, or some kind of maybe literally a garden, but planting something, starting something new. So this lunar cycle, I mean, all lunar cycles start something new, but there's something new that that probably, it could be because Jupiter and Uranus came together in the Taurus space. So it could be whatever was in the Taurus part of your chart, um, which would have been about money and resources, material possessions, um, assets, those kinds of things. Maybe you have, something is getting started, and this is a chance to plant it and kind of let it ruminate mentally and come into being that way. So your opportunity is the Ace of Pentacles. Your challenge is the Page of Swords. And pages are about learning or messages, and swords are airy and ideas, sometimes conflict. So the Page of Swords could be kind of like some news from out of the blue coming in, or it could be like a challenge, like maybe you need to learn something new, or maybe you are learning something new that you might just need to figure out how to ground in all of this space. So there's some kind of aha moment, some kind of like new information, or some kind of new learning that might be challenging as you explore this new Gemini new moon energy. So what are you supposed to do with it? And this is so interesting. So what you're supposed to do with it is the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands is about celebration. So there's some kind of like joyful acceptance. Maybe it's a block party. Maybe you're planning a block party, and you're celebrating. We are in the Northern Hemisphere, coming into the height of summer. And so, Gemini season is really all about communication and ideas and sharing and all of those kinds of things. And so there's something to celebrate as you move through this moon cycle, and just see what comes up. All right. So Aries rising. When we ask the Oracle what message it wants to share, we got the Rest card. This is the bear in this deck. And going to the guidebook, the bear is about, let's see, it says, this card is a reminder that we all have our own cycles of being to which we should listen. This card reminds you to listen to your needs and rest when it is required. So very, kind of an interesting message for you guys, Aries rising. Yeah, some kind of invitation to bring something practical into the world, with the challenge of maybe lots of ideas, or maybe conflicting ideas, or maybe surprising information, some kind of challenge around information and what's coming in and at you. But really with the message to celebrate it, to find joy, and then find your balance. Like, listen to your body, listen to what you're hearing, what messages you're getting from your nervous system, and respond to those. So Aries rising, as always, take what is useful, leave the rest. If you like this, please give me a like, give me a subscribe. That helps me, it helps the channel grow. And hope to see you back at Trails Edge Astrology soon. All right, I'm gonna pause for a second, and then I will move on to our Taurus rising charts. Maybe. All right, Taurus rising. Welcome to all my Taurus rising folks. So, this new moon in Gemini is in your second house if you are a Taurus rising. And your second house is all about assets and resources. It's about material, intellectual, and emotional security. So, our security needs fall in the second house. It can be really literally about money, but it can also be about your values or your sense of self worth. So, something around those kinds of issues. There's an invitation to think about and work with those kinds of issues during this lunar cycle. All right, so what do the cards say for you? So, for your opportunity during this moon cycle, you got the Empress. And the Empress is all about being loud and proud. The Empress is a Venusian figure, but she's not necessarily the sit back and be passive. She's like step into the divine feminine power. Whether you're no matter how you identify in terms of gender or gender orientation or sexuality, it's that divine feminine that like I'm here and I can both nurture and I can set boundaries. And so there's some opportunity to really step into this beautifully defined Empress energy. Um, Venus is also the ruler, your chart ruler for you Taurus risings. So yeah, there's some just real powerful like divine feminine strength that you have the opportunity to invite in during this Gemini moon cycle. What are your challenges during this cycle? Challenges are the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles is a card that talks about kind of being miserly or being really protective of your stuff, like not being really open to sharing. It can be that perhaps you need to set a strong boundary. It could be something like that, but it can also be that you're just holding on to your material possessions too tightly. And so I wonder if the challenge, as you step into your Empress, divine feminine energy, if the challenge is not going to be something about not um, not holding on too tightly, not um, it's going to be the challenge will be to be porous and be fluid and kind of go with the give and take, not be too stingy with whatever you're building or whatever kinds of things you have. So what is your to-do list item? The cards say your to-do list is the Two of Wands, and this is the card of planning. So maybe to step into this energy and to not feel some of the scarcity that might encourage you to hold on to things too tightly, maybe you need a plan. So this Two of Wands energy is like you are on the way. Like whatever is happening, and put some parameters around it, get some ideas in place, and you will be successful in the long run. So um, yeah, so that's interesting. I'm curious, how this shows up for you in the 3D world. So in terms of your oracle drawing, you got the Scorpion, which is about, it says defend. And this is, I find kind of interesting because Scorpio is the sign opposite Taurus. So this energy, scorpionic energy is by definition part of who you are because of the polarity between the two signs. So, it's kind of like you need right to have left, you need dark to have light, you need Scorpio to have Taurus. So there's something, some kind of energy in there. And when I go to the Wild Offering book, this card is about defense and resistance. Let's see, it says, this card is one of fierce protection and guardianship, but also the ability to fight back when necessary. Scorpion card may remind you that sometimes words and postulations are not enough to be heard. This is a card of dynamic defense, of taking action and standing up to face adversity. So that's kind of interesting in this. That feels um, very Empress-like, standing up, holding your ground, and kind of defending what you need to defend. So, Taurus rising, I'm curious how that resonates. If you like this, please give me a like. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. That helps my channel grow, helps me get the message out, helps other people find me. So if you would do that, I would surely appreciate it. And yeah, let me know how it shows up for you. All right. All right. Gemini rising. So all of you with Gemini rising, um, this new moon for Gemini rising is happening in the first house. And the first house is about your body or your appearance. It's your style and your presentation to the world. The first house is often what people see when they meet you. So we think of that our sun sign might be what people see when they meet you. But honestly, we often show up more authentically as our rising sign until people get to know us better. So if this is happening, if you are Gemini rising, if this is happening in your first house, there really could be some real potential for this to really shape some super cool, interesting kinds of things going forward. So this would also mean that the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction was in your 12th house, which could have been a place that we don't always have easy access to. It can be really spiritual, um, but it can also feel confining. It's sometimes called the house of undoing, which can mean like negative undoing, but it can also mean like unwinding um, all of some of the physical constraints that might have been holding you back. And all of that energy is moving into this Gemini first house, which makes me think that maybe you are taking some kind of like nebulous, more spiritual kind of action and bringing it into your life in a really real way. All right. So Gemini rising, what do the cards say for you? So the your opportunity is the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles, so knights are always about movement, but the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest of the knights. I like to think of it as slow and steady wins the race. And as a Gemini rising, I would expect that your mind goes really quickly, that you think and move and you like to keep going. But there's some opportunity right now to integrate slowly, to move, but not to go too fast. So that's your opportunity during this lunar cycle. So the challenge is the Five of Cups, and I'm going to pause this for just a second. Sorry about that. There was a noise in the background. Um, Five of Cups is your challenge in this during this lunar cycle, and the Five of Cups can be about disappointment and loss and apathy, maybe. Something just maybe not sitting the way you wanted it to. And so some disappointment, some wallowing. Sometimes in this card, um, we're so focused on the things we don't have that we forget the things we do have. So that's a way to think about this card. So I wonder if what we're seeing in this reading is that whatever happened in the 12th house, which might have been hard to kind of access on a 3D plane, like there's some invitation to entertain it slowly. And if you feel like you've lost something, to maybe reshift that idea, or not wallow in the loss, but really look at what you still have. So as you move, maybe you're not moving as fast as you want, but there's an opportunity to move, and an opportunity to kind of let go of like whatever left. If something's gone, just it might be challenging to kind of mentally let go of it, but there's an invitation to do that. And then our to-do list. What is it that we are supposed to do? We got the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups is the nostalgia card, or the inner child card. So maybe what you are supposed to do in this is to play, because as a Gemini rising, I expect that mental play is somehow a big part of your life. And so maybe there's some like digging in deep to those inner child kinds of things that maybe there's a chance to work on. Maybe some of that came up during that Jupiter-Uranus connection and Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And maybe there's an invitation, or maybe there's an invitation to just kind of take a walk down memory lane. Like you might be feeling some loss. There might be something that you're like, I didn't get that, or that's gone. Um, and so maybe there's an invitation to think about, like what was that really like? Was it really as great as I thought it was? So some kind of to-do list around that kind of energy, that doing some inner child work, or doing some work with things in the past, and really making sure that the story you're telling yourself is the truth, and is the story that you want to learn, or to live into, especially as this energy is available, in that part of your chart where you can really change how you show up in the world. All right. So our oracle guidance from the Wild Mystic deck. Our guidance is the Narwhal, and the word is freedom. And so from the guidebook, this is a card of freedom and independence. It says the Narwhal card evokes magic, power, and spirit. It is knowing your own power and celebrating it through expression, individuality, and uniqueness, which I would expect as a Gemini rising are things that you're pretty comfortable stepping into. The Narwhal card is freedom from commitment, earthly ties, and responsibility, allowing you to swim in the deep ocean under an icy blue moon. This card is a symbol of adventure, travel, and journeys to find yourself and the powers within. It is hope and liberty after a period of restraint and inhibition. So looking at this, I'm feeling like maybe you haven't been moving as quickly as you have wanted to. Maybe there's some loss, or there's something that just hasn't gone your way. And this, I think the Narwhal really kind of sums up like there is freedom in this. There is a path through. This new moon is maybe an opening or an adventure to let you move on to whatever the next stage of the journey is. All right, Gemini, if this was helpful, would you please give me a like, give me a subscribe? Helps people find me, helps me promote the channel, and I definitely appreciate it. All right, Gemini rising, thanks so much. All right, Leo risings, welcome in. For Leo risings, this Gemini new moon is going to happen in your 11th house. And your 11th house is about friends and community. It's a house of good fortune. It's a house of benefactors. It's a house of cooperation. So nice place for this moon. And natally with Gemini there, I would expect that you have lots of friends and you're very, um, very interested in communication and in being with people and in being in groups and communities, and like exploring lots of different ideas around the people in your sphere. So, so Leo risings, what do the cards say for you? Being that this is happening in that place in your life of community and friendships. So this is interesting. Your opportunity is the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is a card about walking away from something, even if it looks good, even if it has served you well in the past, even if it has been exactly the thing you needed in time was. There's something about that you need to walk away from. And I expect that you know what it is that you might need to walk away from. Maybe it is maybe you're involved in a volunteer organization that's just taking too much of your time, or is not maybe they're not doing the volunteer opportunities that you are wanting to do. Maybe there's some other thing. Maybe it's a friend. Um, maybe it's some kind of like group activity that just like, you know what, it was good in the past. It did what I needed it to do. And now during this Gemini new moon, I have an invitation to move on from that, to kind of leave this behind. It was great, but it's not me anymore. So that's your invitation, is maybe to think about something that it's time to walk away from. That it's time to leave in the past so that you can move on to whatever it is, whatever the new adventure is, whatever the next chapter is. So your challenge is the Emperor. And the Emperor is kind of about that, like, you know, these are the rules. This is the way we do it. This is the strict structure. And so I wonder if in walking away from whatever it is that's no longer serving you, you're going to have to walk away from some kind of authority figure or some kind of like structure that has maybe felt comfortable in the past but now feels oppressive. But it's going to be hard. It might be hard to walk away from whatever this thing is. Maybe it's security. Maybe it's a sense of like actually, what just came to mind is like a job. Maybe you need to walk away from a job that has served you well, that has been just fine, um, and the challenge is that it has provided you this structure or this financial security or something like that. And now that I mean, this is happening in your 11th house, so maybe it's not a job, but that's what came to my mind. Um, but maybe it's a group that you're involved in. Maybe it's um, something along those lines where like it's time to walk away, but there's some structure or stability or something that it's providing that that might be challenging to let go of, or not very easy to let go of. All right, what do the cards say you need to do about all of this? They say you need to be a King of Cups. And the King of Cups is a card about kings are leadership. So it's about leading from the heart. So it's about being a compassionate leader, being very intuitive, and emotional intelligence might be, like a leader with a real emotional intelligence. So wherever you're going, I would not think of the Emperor necessarily as having emotional intelligence, but the King of Cups definitely does. That's the King of Cups hallmark. So there's something in this transition where, however you're transitioning your friend groups or your community groups or your benefactors or how you're cooperating with others, that that you're being asked to leave something and you're being asked to step into a leadership role, um, coming from your heart, listening to the song of your heart, listening to the quiet voice that maybe you don't always listen to, um, that's inviting you to move forward and step into whatever is next. All right, and in terms of our Wild Mystic Oracle card, we got the Leo Rising. You got the Koala Protection. So the Koala card in the guidebook talks about this card representing protection from harm and comfort during difficult times. So I'm wondering, like, maybe this has been kind of a hard road. Maybe like things have changed or moved. Honestly, Jupiter Uranus would have been in your 10th house, which is about career. So maybe there's something, career, vocation, public life, that kind of thing. So maybe something has shifted, and or maybe you're being asked to walk away from that something that has shifted. And this koala is providing some, or offering some, protection and comfort in difficult times. Um, the card encourages a caring and reassuring form of protection. Um, it is often associated with caregivers, so there may be some kind of caregiving role. The card promotes conservation of nature, protection of culture, and caring for others. Um, the shadow side of it is that koalas can sometimes be associated with laziness or lethargy, and and it can indicate a person without any teeth, like somebody who, let's see, what does it say? It's an offer of safety and comfort without substantiating the offer with action, care, efforts, and defense. So um, yeah, so I'm wondering if there isn't some shift or some like like big decision that you're being asked to make from a real heart-centered space, from a space where you're really tuning into intuition and really listening to what feels right, rather than what maybe the structure or society has told you need to do. But there's some protection here. There's some caring, some caregiving, some kind of like some kind of warm hug from the universe. Like, this might be hard right now, but you can get through it. So, Leo risings, if this was helpful, please give me a like. That helps my channel grow. Helps me see that you're out there. I appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't. I would also appreciate that. And let me know if this resonates. And good luck with this new moon. All right, Virgo rising. Welcome, welcome. So, for you with Virgo rising, this new moon is happening in your 10th house. Your 10th house is your house of job or vocation or calling. It's your public life, it's your authority, your responsibility. So this has the potential to be kind of a big new moon for you, or at least a public new moon for you. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction would have been in your 9th house, which is about your higher mind and maybe your education or travel or new learning or those kinds of things. And so whatever has kind of like been seeded in that in April, maybe it's coming in to see how you show up, how you show up in the world. What things look like publicly for you, what your job, what your vocation, what your calling is, and how you want to enact that in the world. So that's kind of exciting. It's always, I always like it when stuff comes to my 10th house, because it usually does show up in the world in nice ways. All right, so what are the cards saying for you? Your opportunity during this Gemini new moon cycle is the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands, so Knights are about journeys and movement and taking action, and Wands are about moving quickly. Wands are fire. It's about really quick, intuitive action. It might be inviting you to take some risks, to maybe step out of your comfort zone a little bit and do something that you were called to do, but that you're a little afraid to do. So there's some invitation to do something outside of your norm, and a real invitation to do that during this Gemini moon cycle, which makes a lot of sense with Jupiter Uranus being in your 9th house, maybe giving you some kind of ideas or some guidance or some identification of the truth, and then this new moon cycle in Gemini, inviting you to just step out. This can also be like about moving quickly. So the Knight of Wands is not a slow knight. The Knight of Wands is like, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time ruminating on whatever it is that might be calling me. I'm going to take the risk and I'm going to go. So there's an invitation to do that during this moon cycle. The challenge during this moon cycle is the 10 of Swords. And so the 10s are the end of a journey, and swords are often about conflict. And so it might be challenging to let go of something that has ended, but put you through its paces, was really difficult, and not any idea, like the duck is dead and all these swords are in its back. That's not true for you. You're still alive. You made it through, but you probably have suffered something. There's been some stuff that has not gone your way. But this is a card that says, even though things have not gone your way, um, that's done. And it might be challenging to let go of those kinds of things, but the invitation is to take the leap, to move into the next thing, to take the new job, maybe, if that's what it is, or to take the new assignment, or to step into whatever the next thing is, even though something might have been painful around that in the past, or there might have been different circumstances or something that really tore away at you and hurt your confidence. what is your to-do list? So the universe is asking you to be in a Three of Cups space. And Three of Cups is about teamwork to reach a goal. So there's some kind of invitation to partner with somebody, maybe new, to build something new. Um, but yeah, to just be in a space. Cups are very much about emotions and about feelings and about like those real internal connections to people. So I always think of the Three of Cups as about um, doing something doing something that feels really good with people you really like. So around your career, maybe there's a new partnership or a new team that you're being invited to join in. You need to take a risk. Maybe you've been screwed by teams in the past or something like that. Yeah, this take the risk. Jump in. Um, Listen to your heart. Does it feel right? Does it feel good? And if it does, there's a partnership here that can really, I think, take you to the next step, take you into something really fabulous. All right, your Wild Mystic Oracle card is the Lion, and it says courage. So from the book, um, this card represents bravery. This card urges you to take the high road when faced with temptation for vengeance, anger, or an easy way through a situation. Taking the high road can often be the most courageous and difficult step. It is a message to not let oppressors get you down or situations overwhelm you. So I think that fits in so well. So there's some oppressors in the past or something that has just pulled you down, and this Gemini new moon is saying, yeah, that happened. And be courageous. Move into this next step. Take the next step. Do the right thing. Like when we look at the Three of Cups, like there is a partnership, but it's really about doing the right thing, doing about the thing that that makes your stomach settle, as opposed to making your stomach upset in the long run. So, all right, friends, Virgo risings. I hope this is helpful. If it is, please like and subscribe if you haven't. That helps the channel grow. It helps me get my message out, and I greatly appreciate it. All right, Virgo risings, enjoy this lunar cycle. All right, Libra risings. Um, welcome. All right, for my Libra risings out there, this new moon in Gemini is happening in your 9th house. And the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction would have happened in your 8th house. And that could, 8th house stuff can be tough. 8th house stuff is about transformation and death and rebirth and really like stepping into those karmic contracts we have with other people. And so, but also freeing. It's about redemption and about moving on in ways. So, as this Gemini new moon comes into your 9th house, there's going to be a real focus on what is your worldview, what is your abstract mind thinking about, or what kind of abstract ideas are coming into your expression. This can be about higher education and learning. It can be about faith and religion and inspiration and truth and trust, all of those kinds of things. It can be about what is the ideal, what are your metaphysical beliefs. This is the house of astrology, for those who are concerned. So Libra risings, this can be happening kind of in that space of like how do we know, or not even how do we know what we know? What do we know? What do we believe? Um, it can be about things like long distance travel or sports or those things where where we step out into the world, we do something different and learn something different. So super exciting for this lunar cycle. And yeah, so whatever's been happening, let's see what the cards have to say about how you can work with this Gemini new moon energy. All right, so the first card we got for your opportunity is the Three of Swords. And looking at this card, it doesn't look like a great opportunity. That poor eagle has been stabbed with three swords. So the Three of Swords is the card of heartbreak. And so I think that there is some opportunity during this lunar cycle. Maybe your eighth house work has been hard. Maybe there's been something you're really being asked to release. And the opportunity during this lunar cycle is to kind of own that and step into whatever the next chapter is. To not just get caught up in the heartbreak and the loss. Or maybe there's an opportunity to learn something from the heartbreak and loss. I was just saying to a friend today, um, a while back, I had something that was unpleasant happened to me, and for a long time I resented the person that I felt like caused it. And then I was doing this gratitude class, and suddenly I realized that because the person had done what they had done, they had allowed me to to be free in ways that I hadn't realized, to explore ideas that I never would have explored if that thing hadn't happened. So I wonder if this isn't, if there isn't something about recognizing that whatever happened, whatever that heartbreak was, broke you open in a way that might not otherwise have happened. And it's going to let you step into this ninth house energy and really expand your worldview or your beliefs or your ethics or your whatever, your faith. Might bring in some really gorgeous things, or literally something might have happened that's going to allow you to go back to college or take classes that you wouldn't have otherwise. So I think that's what that's saying, is the opportunity is to recognize that some heartbreak that has happened is really an opportunity that might not have happened otherwise. Um, so the challenge is the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is the card of loss or poverty. Not necessarily literally, but figuratively. So I wonder if, whatever happened has left you feeling like you don't have any support, or like there's, like you just, like you're empty. Like there's just, like you've lost something. And so I think the challenge for you is going to be to own whatever that loss is, and recognize that maybe it's not a loss. Maybe it had to go so that you could be broken open to to take on this new adventure. The ninth house is definitely the house of adventure. Um, so yeah, so maybe there's some. The challenge is going to be not to wallow in this loss, not to feel like you are less than, or like um, anything like something might not be available, not to focus on what isn't there, but to recognize that there is a place to step into, that that what's gone is gone, and it is gone so that you can move into this new beautiful energy with this gorgeous Gemini new moon. So what is your to-do list? What is the universe asking you to do? You got the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords queens are um, very much about living in the energy of the suit. So the Queen of Swords lives in the energy of truth and facts and information and very Gemini kinds of things, but also ninth house Gemini kinds of things. That ethics is in there. So it's very much about, like something happened, something that did not feel good happened, and I wonder if there's like an ethical component to it, or there's like somebody just did you wrong or something. And this invitation is really to step into your power. Queens are powerful. Step into your power, but in a very logical, ethical, rational way, to not get swept up by emotions, not get caught up in the tides of gossip or who said what, but to just really step in powerfully and take control of that situation. Um, really live in that power. You don't have to do this for anybody else. This is totally, you live by the rules that you want to set, by the rules that are true for you, and you don't worry about anybody else. So that's what you're being asked to do during this cycle. Really step into your truth and live in your truth. All right, so what is our wild mystic card? So for this, the universe gave you love, or the swan. So yeah, so it feels like something that hasn't felt good has happened, but the universe has given you some love. So from the guidebook, it says this card represents love in all forms, be it romantic, platonic, familial, sexual, or self-love. The Swan card can symbolize self-love and acceptance, overcoming self-doubt or hatred, and seeing the beauty within. We might understand this card to show us that we hold true beauty no matter what our inner or outer saboteurs may say. So I think that's gorgeous. So whatever has come down, whatever this year has brought on you, there is really an invitation to recognize that it has allowed you to do something that you would not otherwise have been able to do. And maybe you can't see it yet. It might be too raw. I don't know. But there's something about whatever has happened, whatever heartbreak you're feeling, that really is an invitation and an opportunity to live more authentically and truthful to who you are. I hope that helps, Libra rising. This reading makes me think like you've been through it this year. Um, and so I hope this helps. I hope that you can take something from this and recognize that whatever feels like it's gone or whatever feels like it's been taken from you is actually a blessing in disguise, and that there is love and that there is a reason for it. So Libra risings, if this was helpful, I would appreciate a like. That helps me know that you're out there. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. That helps the channel grow, and it helps me to reach more people. All right, Libra rising, enjoy this moon cycle. All right, hello, Scorpio rising. So, for Scorpio risings, this new moon in Gemini is happening in your 8th house. And the 8th house is like a deep dive house. So it is about physical and spiritual contracts we have with other people. It is about how we share resources with other people. It can be your partner's money, for example. But it can also be about regeneration. So that death and rebirth cycle. It can be a place of self-sabotage. Things happening in the 8th house, sometimes it's a self-sabotage kind of space. It can be a crisis around the meaning of life, and it can be any of those taboo subjects like sex, death, or taxes. So anything like that. So Scorpio risings, this Gemini in the 8th house, I could show up in any of those kinds of ways, but they're not really like 3D concrete kinds of things. But yeah, somehow those like the contracts and the way we mix resources with other people are coming up in this spot in your chart as this Gemini new moon comes in. And hopefully the new moon with all the beautiful energy will be a balm for that kind of for whatever's been going on in those kinds of areas in your chart. The Jupiter-Uranus conjunction probably happened in your 7th house, which is about partnerships and committed relationships. And so, kind of like I think this next step is moving into like how do you intermingle with all of that? How do you regenerate or think about um, coming together, packaging things up, or breaking them down so that you can be free to do the things you need to do. All right, so what do the cards have to say for you? Your opportunity is the Five of Wands. And Scorpio rising, the Five of Wands is about healthy competition. So it's about wands are about struggles or fights, but the Five of Wands is not about a bad fight. It's about it's about détente. It's about those kind of like creative challenges. The like if I engage in this, there might be a struggle. Maybe we have a difference of opinion, um, but having that conversation moves us both forward. We both understand the world a little bit better, or I'm going to have a healthy competition with this business partner of mine or this romantic partner of mine around a thing around how much money we can save or something like that. Um, but it's competition, but it's good. It's like moving you forward, moving you on to the next thing. So there's an opportunity to engage in some kind of competition that moves you forward and allows you to get to whatever that next step is. So if some competition shows up and you're like, it's competition, I don't like that. But I know it will make me better in the long run. Like there's an opportunity there. This moon cycle is kind of inviting that in. And because it's the eighth house, I would guess it's around money or the way you have intertwined resources with another person. And those could be material, financial resources, those could be possessions, or those could be like karmic kinds of things, like how we are energetically connected to other people. So some kind of like if I engage in this tension, in this kind of thing that doesn't necessarily feel all smooth and lovey-dovey, it will move us both forward. So there's an opportunity there. What is the challenge? Oh, this is so funny with partners. The challenge is the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups is the love card. So there's I think this is some healthy competition with a partner, healthy competition with some kind of partner, somebody you care about, um, and so the challenge with this is that relationship, um, like it might be difficult to maybe it's a new relationship, maybe Jupiter Uranus brought in somebody new into your life, and so there's a challenge to not just be all lovey-dovey, ooey gooey, let everything, go along smoothly, but really to step it up and to say, no, we can do better. We can do better than this. We care about each other, but we're not just going to be lazy with that. Like it'll be fine. We're going to step it up. We're going to, game on kind of thing. So yeah, so challenges around this is around the relationship. Um, but I think it's around not being too complacent in the relationship. All right. And what is the universe asking you to do about all of this? You, Scorpio risings, got the moon. And this is so interesting because these two are, like a person or some kind of like engagement with a person, but the moon is very much about living in intuition. It's about um, it's about not necessarily being able to see the path or exactly where you're going, which honestly feels very eighth house to me. Like the eighth house is not a real concrete, like this is it kind of house. It's very nebulous and very watery and, very much like meaning of life kinds of stuff. Um, and so I think that in whatever relationship this is and whatever kind of um, struggle or creative challenge you're being called to engage in, there's some part of it like you don't need to know the answers. You don't need to know exactly where you're going. You don't need to know exactly how it's going to turn out. That some leap of faith might be beneficial. And there's an invitation to take that leap and to like just step into the mystery, just like go down the path, open the door. We'll see. It'll work out one way or another. But yeah, something about mystery, about not being able to necessarily see exactly where you're going in this journey, but knowing that you're protected and that it's like there's that some part of that is the plan. It's not supposed to be like all 3D world. It's not supposed to be follow this 10-step program. It's about we can make each other better. We can't get caught up in just like being us, but if we are willing to take this step, we can step into new power and we can do it better. Um, and we don't worry if you're not exactly sure how it's going to work out or where it's going to go. There is some mystery to all of this, and that's the beauty. All right, in terms of our mystic, what is it called? Wild Mystic. In terms of our Wild Mystic Oracle card, Scorpio rising, you got the owl, and it says wisdom. So from the guidebook, the owl is about wisdom and learning. The owl is the sage, the teacher, the mentor, and the shaman. This card may symbolize the passing of knowledge to another and the sharing of wisdom within a community or group. The owl may urge you to lead by example. It is the card of authoritative guidance and asks you to learn from those with more knowledge and experience than yourself. It advises it advises you to deliberately and carefully. I'm sorry. It advises you to deliberate carefully, there we go, on decisions, but not to the point of paralysis. For your own wisdom and the wisdom you gather from those you trust will guide you along the right path. So that's interesting. That deliberate carefully feels to me like this Five of Wands. Like there's some interaction and we want to deliberate carefully. It's gonna come our way. Um, yeah, but there's some magical learning in all of this. So super interested to see how this lunar cycle shapes up for you and what you take away. So hope this resonates. Of course, take what works and leave the rest. Um, if you are game, I would appreciate it if you would give me a like if this was helpful for you, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. That helps me have the channel grow. It helps me find people, all those kinds of good things, and I would be grateful for that. All right, Scorpio rising, I can't wait to hear how this lunar cycle shapes up for you. All right, Sagittarius rising. Welcome to your Gemini new moon reading. So, this Gemini new moon is showing up in your seventh house, and the seventh house is the house of committed relationships. It's about marriage partners, business partners, your besties, your closest friends. Can also be opponents. So it's about where we engage in a really fruitful way with other people. And so this Gemini new moon, might be inviting in anything along those lines to refine a partnership, to build a partnership, to revise a partnership, any of that kind of. I guess I said refine and revise. That means the same thing. Welcome to Gemini season. We say the same thing twice. So yeah, so anything around relationships, I think is going to come up or it is ripe for invitation during this lunar cycle. So Sag rising, what do the cards say? So for your opportunity, you got strength. And the strength card is literally like being strong, being courageous. But it's also about strength that comes through vulnerability, through allowing yourself to be really seen and to be okay with maybe being a hot mess some of the time. So there might be something about some opportunity to show your strength through really opening your heart or really like letting people see who you are. And being that this is in your seventh house, maybe letting a particular person see who you are truly, and that what might feel a little weak makes you that much stronger in the long run. So there's an opportunity to show up and be strong, be authentically who you are, and show that authentic strength during this moon cycle. What is your challenge? Your challenge is the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords is about being in a cage of your own making. So, I'm wondering if some of this strength that you have the opportunity to show is going to let you get yourself untangled. Maybe you have been holding yourself back, or maybe you have not been kind of willing to open your heart or open your mind or open yourself up to some kind of opportunity, or maybe you've just got yourself all mentally tangled, and so you're in a place where you can't where you just like you don't know how to get out. So for a long time through my life, I've gotten this card regularly. I don't get it too often anymore, thank goodness. But I've gotten this card regularly, and it can be frustrating because it is definitely about being in a cage of your own making. And like a lot of times you don't know how to get out of that cage. You don't know, like, yes, okay, I know I made this, I know I did this, and I don't know how to get out. So during this lunar cycle, that's going to be a challenge. There's going to be the challenge to figure out how to get out. And what's coming into my mind is like, is there therapy, or is there a support group, or is there some kind of thing that you can do to unwind, maybe some of this stuff that you're blocking or you're not sharing, because you don't think it's strong, that maybe you need to work through, maybe you need to release and let go. But that's a challenge. That's going to be hard, and you're going to be invited to do that during this lunar cycle. But it might be hard. It might not flow. Um, it might not allow you to keep your guardrails up. It might ask you to be like, okay, this is who I am. This is what I love, and and that's and that's me. So, what are the cards telling you need to do about all this during this cycle? What do you need to do to be strong and to set yourself free? You need to embrace the Ace of Wands. And the aces are about the pure energy of a sign, and wands are about passion and creativity. So I think that what this is saying is that you are being invited during this Gemini moon cycle to step into some kind of passion and creativity. And a lot of times passion and creativity come with vulnerability, like to really tell people what you love, what you're passionate about, what what you want to create in the world. Like sometimes that's hard. Sometimes, there's judgment, or maybe there's some, long-term, like maybe you've been criticized for your passions in the past. But I think during this moon cycle, you're being invited to kind of take that step in and to be like, no, this is what I want. This is the thing. And being that this is happening in your seventh house, I wonder if that might bring in either a new romantic partner or a new business partner or a new really close friend, that just like showing somebody your heart, showing somebody what you really, really love. I think there's a real invitation to do that during this Gemini moon cycle. So our wild offering, or wild mystic, um, our Wild Mystic Oracle card for you, Sag Rising, is the horse, or trust. And I think this is beautiful because, of course, horses are related to Sagittarius, so that's kind of like cheeky of the universe to give us that. But trust is super interesting, given that we're asking to be vulnerable, we're asking to show up and live in our passion and creativity. So the horse card is about trust and loyalty. This card is symbolic of allegiances, solidarity, and camaraderie. It is a friendship forged with mutual respect and shared adversity. So that's interesting. So some kind of like, if you open up some part of yourself that maybe you've been scared to open in the past, maybe that's what brings you these new friends, new camaraderie, new relationships. One reading of this card could be a warning um, that you should not trust too blindly. Um, Follow your own will when you feel you are being led astray. So there might be something about like being open and being vulnerable, but reading the tea leaves. Like if this doesn't feel right, trust yourself. Um, this card is urging you to trust yourself. There we go. Um, so there's something about this horse and this trust for you, Sag Rising, is coming up as you see what this Gemini new moon does in terms of relationships for you. All right. If this was helpful, please give me a like. Please give me a subscribe if you haven't. That helps the channel grow. It helps people find me. It lets me know you're out there and this is working. Comments, like if this resonates or how it resonates, I would sure like to hear that as well. So Sag Rising, enjoy this glorious new Gemini moon. All right, Capricorn risings. Welcome to your Gemini new moon reading. So for those of you who are Capricorn risings, this Gemini new moon is in your 6th house. And your 6th house is your house of daily habits or work. It can be a house of illness. So sometimes it's a health house. Jinx is going to join us for Capricorn risings. It can be about small animals like this cat. And the sixth house can be about service to the greater whole, the greater good. And so, yeah, so something around that. Frequently, sixth house new moons are around, creating new habits and new routines, creating new health routines in particular. Um, Sometimes they can be health problems. So certainly, if you are feeling um, ill at ease at all, or if anything is seems amiss, um, please go straight to the doctor. That it's important for sixth house issue. And I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying if it does, if you feel like something's wrong, go to the doctor. But hopefully, it can help you create some new patterns and new daily routines that might serve you and your health better. So, what do the cards? Jinx, can you move? What do the cards say about you and what's going on in your lives during what you can invite in during this Gemini new moon? So your opportunity is the Three of Wands. And the Three of Wands is about a journey, or is about, stepping off into the unknown. So I wonder with the sixth house energy, and I'm sorry about the cat. I don't quite know. We just live with him. We love him, and that's why we live with him. So the Three of Wands is really about that. Yeah, about this journey, about stepping off into the unknown, about doing something new, about taking the risk, about going to the place that maybe you've been thinking about going, and so that makes me think that this is kind of a daily habit. Maybe this is a new exercise routine or a new kind of like way of living or being in the world, or way of organizing your work life, or organizing your routines or your rituals or something like that. So there's some like stepping off into the unknown, into the great beyond. Um, what is the challenge in this? The challenge in this is the Three of Pentacles. So that's interesting. We've got a Three of Wands as your opportunity and a Three of Pentacles as your challenge. And the Three of Pentacles is really about working together in a team to build some material kind of thing. It can be about learning. It can be about apprenticeship. It's like working together to build a thing. And so there might be some challenge around teams or around whatever it is you might be trying to build or bring together. There might be some challenge for you. Maybe stepping into this new unknown, into this new world that you're being called to step into, or called to think about, create some ruffles among the people that you're working with, or about how this shows up in the material world. So something about that. So that might be challenging, but it doesn't mean it's not worth doing. There's still this invitation to step into this new journey, into this new place, even if it causes you to have to readjust your team, or like something else this could mean is that maybe the challenge is that you're going to have to create a new team, that you're going to have to really, you've got the invitation to take the journey, but you're going to have to build this thing, and you're going to have to find the people to build it with Gemini in your sixth house. Like chances are it's a group kind of thing. So if you're trying to come up with a new exercise routine, maybe it's going to a new gym, or it's finding people to walk with, or something like that. So yeah, new journey. And then I wonder, as I'm thinking about it more, I'm wondering if it's not the challenge is that you have to build this team, that you have to like build put the scaffolding around so that you can actually make it happen. So we're taking this from underneath Jinx. Uh, so what is the universe telling you need to do in this time? He's falling off now. Again, Capricorn risings. I apologize for my cat. Um, so the universe is telling you to be the Queen of Cups in this time. And so the Queens are um, people who live in the energy of the suit. And Cups is about living in your heart center. It's about living in your emotional center, and about like really like showing up for your intuition. So if something feels right, do it. And if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. So it's very much that space and like living in that space, not worrying what other people think about you living in that space, but just really living in that heart-centered, like, does this feel right? Does it feel like the right thing to do? The Queen of Cups is also very relational. So are these my people? Is this my tribe? So if it's not, don't don't go there. Listen to that inner voice, that inner knowing, you know. So as you build, as you go on whatever this journey is, whatever this next step is, and as you build the framework so that you can really live into it, there's something about just really sitting in your intuition. That's the first step, is like tuning in and really identifying what the space is, um, where you need to be, where this all how you can launch this thing, like how you can really live in this space. The Queen of Cups also makes me think um, that part of your to-do list is to live in that space, is not to be like, well, let somebody else lead, or no, you lead. You figure out what it is you want to do, you build the framework, and you get it going. And there's a real invitation to step into that energy in this Gemini moon cycle. All right, so what does the Wild Mystic deck have to say for you? The Wild Mystic deck gave you the crocodile, and it says patience. So from the guidebook, it says this card represents patience and consideration. Crocodiles are ambush predators, and their strategy involves waiting and educated prediction. They observe the habits of their prey, monitoring the watering holes, and striking only when ready. This card is a symbol of careful judgment and deliberation. It urges caution, warns against impulsive decisions, and advises you to weigh your options. The presence of the crocodile in your reading might also indicate that there is no easy answer to your question, or that whatever you are deliberating will be a complex decision. So that makes sense in the sixth house. Sixth house issues are not normally like cut and dried kinds of issues. But yeah, there's something about stepping into what feels right in this, and that the universe is giving you some patience. It might take you a little while to figure it out, or to build that structure so that you can really do that thing you are wanting to do. So Capricorn rising, if this was helpful for you, would you please give me a like? Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. That helps the channel grow. It helps people find me, and I very much appreciate it. So Capricorn risings, I am excited to see what happens for you during this Gemini new moon cycle, what you're inviting in. So tell me in the comments too if you're game. All right. Good luck. Thanks so much. All right. Welcome, Aquarius risings, to your Gemini new moon reading. So for you, Aquarius risings, this Gemini new moon is in the fifth house, and the fifth house is the house of personal creativity. It's about individuation and self-expression. It can be about children. It can be about romance. It can be about risk. It can be about sports. It can be about self-indulgence. It can be about any of those kinds of things. But ultimately, it's really an opportunity to step into that like personal creative potential. And so this new moon here is a real invitation to like think about like what's the next thing, what's the next big adventure, and start to plan and figure out how to step into that. So what do the cards have to say for you, my Aquarius rising friends? Um, your opportunity during this moon cycle is the sun. And really interesting, the fifth house is ruled by the sun, so that's interesting to get all the solar energy. So the sun is really an opportunity for abundance, and for really like having that warmth and that creative glow, and like all the stuff I mentioned that goes with the fifth house, that personal creativity, that authentic expression of really who you are. So there's really an opportunity to do that, to really step into that sun power. And I wonder, Aquarius rising, if this isn't an invitation to really step into your sun sign. So whatever your sun sign is, wherever it is, you might look at that and think about like how that might be connected to expression of your personal creativity. your personal identity, and yeah, what that how that turns for you. So yeah, so opportunity for the sun to really shine, to illuminate. Um, yeah, to maybe this is something. Maybe you have been like wanting to express yourself in a new way and not being quite ready to, and maybe this is the invitation to like step up and be like, no, look at me over here, I'm doing this thing. So I think the universe has your back on that. What is your challenge? Your challenge is the Queen of Pentacles. And the queens are about like living in the abundant, or I'm sorry, living in the energy of the suit. And pentacles are about worldly, material kinds of things. And so I wonder if stepping into this creativity is giving you a little heartburn about what it looks like in the material world. Maybe what money looks like if you step into this creativity or you do this new thing. Maybe what that looks like, or maybe what just what your day to day life can you really nurture this project or sustain this project. Maybe there's just some challenge around what that material piece of it looks like and how you sit in that material space. um, yeah, how you figure out how to like nurture yourself. Maybe, and that could be where we go with this. Like if you step into this real creative space and this big, take this big leap or this big risk, that that the challenge might be to nurture yourself, to really make sure you stick with your self-care routine and make sure you are really taking care of yourself in all of this. Particularly if something goes really fast or moves really in a big way. Um, so what are the cards saying that you need to do during this lunar cycle when you're being invited to go big, for your passions and your creativity? Um, your to-do list is the Knight of Cups. And the knights are all about movement, so action and movement, but cups are really about feelings and emotions. So it's really the romance card, kind of the this is the Prince Charming card, if you will. So so there might be some invitation for you to really, just really, you know, put on the ruffles, put it out there. Really, maybe wear your heart on your sleeve, kind of thing. Like as you're showing your abundance, you're showing this thing that you really want to build, that you're really ready to create, that you're ready to share with the world. This card's saying, do it, and like really show it to people. Really like step in and own it. And there might be some vulnerability to this, like this card is talking about like are you worried about the material side of it, or like how you take care of yourself, and this card's saying like lead with your heart. Go in full bore, wherever your heart is telling you to go, whatever your heart is telling you to do. There's something about that kind of energy and joy during this moon cycle that you are being invited to explore. So then, what do our Wild Mystic Oracle cards have to say to you? You got the hummingbird, my Aquarius rising friends, and the hummingbird says energy. And from the guidebook, it says this card represents unbound energy and zeal. Feels very fifth house, very sun as an opportunity. Um, and actually, that's funny in here. It also mentions that the hummingbird is related to the sun, so you get lots of solar energy right now, Aquarius rising folks. This card is excitement, enthusiasm, and unrelenting vitality. The hummingbird card may symbolize a pinpoint, exact task at hand, or may the hummingbird card may symbolize a pinpoint and the exact task at hand. However, it might also indicate tunnel vision and merciless hyperfixation. Excitement for a task does not always mean that it should be a priority. So that's kind of interesting. Because I feel like all of these other cards are saying like, go for it. Like this creative self-expression, whatever it is you're wanting to shine a light on or share with the world, like now is the time. Um, so I think this is really this energy card is really giving you that nudge. Like Like, yeah, like it's time. It's you can go out. You can step out and show whatever it is you have been building or seeing or, ready to bring into the world. So, Aquarius rising, I hope this was helpful. And if it was, would you please give me a like? And would you consider subscribing? That helps people find me. It helps the channel grow. It lets me know you're out there, and I sure appreciate that. If you have comments about how this lunar cycle is showing up for you, please share them. I'm always interested to hear how the energy works out for folks. All right, Aquarius rising, I hope this was helpful and enjoy this beautiful lunar cycle. All right, Pisces rising. Um, Welcome to this beautiful new moon in Gemini reading. Um, so, for my Pisces rising folks, this new moon is happening in your fourth house. And your fourth house is about your family, your roots, your home. It's about heredity. It's about your very private life. So, all those kinds of things. It can be about your father. Um, but yeah, so there's just the most deep private part of your chart, your home, your parents, your roots, your ancestors, any of that kind of thing is related to the fourth house. So this Gemini moon might be showing you some things or might be inviting you to do something with those roots that then lets you, bring it out in the world in a different way. All right, so what are the cards saying to you, my Pisces rising friends? So, your opportunity during this Gemini new moon is the Six of Pentacles. And this is kind of a weird card. I was trying to figure out like what this poor dog is doing, but we'll just go with it. So the Six of Pentacles is about reciprocity. It's about an equal exchange of services or an equal exchange of gifts and talents. It's about helping somebody else. It can be like a paying it forward card, like somebody has helped you and then you go on to help somebody else. So there's some opportunity to like give back or to give something that really helps somebody and receive something in exchange. But the timeline might be not completely linear. So maybe your parents gave you something or some tool or some gift or something, and now you're having the opportunity to share it with somebody else or to put it out in the world. Or maybe it's just family coming together or your home coming together and being able to yeah, to share openly and willingly. Um, a lot of times, the Six of Pentacles I always think of it as like there's some divine guidance in whatever this exchange and whatever this reciprocity that's happening is. There's some kind of outside influence that is pushing it in a good direction. So I think your opportunity is to like share your gifts and talents in a way that feels right and in a way that either is like a paying it forward for something you've gotten in the past, or that um, knowing that if you do this good deed, like it's going to come back on the back end, and you will get a reward, if you will, for it. Yeah. So there's some opportunity to share your gifts and talents with somebody or the world. So yeah, Six of Pentacles is your opportunity. The challenge is judgment. And the Judgment card is interesting. The Judgment card is almost to the end of the major arcana, and so it's the point in the journey where you make those final last critical adjustments, where it's like the point of no return, like that I'm stepping off and I'm going. Um, but yeah, it's final. It's karma. It's making the choice. You've in the story of the tarot, yeah, that you get to judgment. Like you built all of these pieces, you put all of these pieces together, and you get to judgment, and you look at it and you say, yes, we're going, or no, we're not. We need to fix this. We don't need to fix that. All that kind of energy. And so, for you during this Gemini cycle, there's going to be some challenge around judgment, some challenge around the discernment about what needs to be tweaked so that you can go forward. I mean, it could also be literal, like in asking you to share something of yourself, you are faced with some judgment you have for yourself, some self-criticism, something that makes you feel less than or othered, or some kind of um, um, yeah, self-analysis, that kind of thing. So there might be some challenge around this. There might be some challenge around um, like fixing something, you know, giving giving and sharing in a way that feels authentic. Might be some challenge around giving something up, or yeah, some self-judgment, self-criticism around that you might need to think about or review, or really grapple with in a real way that lets you be free enough to share your resources and your time, treasures, and talents, so that people can really benefit from the gifts that you have. Um, and all of this is somehow related to home and family and ancestry and heredity. So maybe there's some gift, some tradition that you have in your family that you can share with others and will help them benefit. But there's some piece of you that's like, maybe we should guard this, maybe we should not do it this way. Um, Maybe people will judge us for it. Maybe there will be some judgment for us sharing that this is our tradition, that this is what we've done. So it could be anything along those lines. You know your life better than I do, but some kind of opportunity to share something meaningful, and then some kind of self-doubt or some challenge around actually doing that, or what that looks like, refining whatever you're doing so that you're ready to show what you have. And then what is the universe telling you you need to do to step into this power? And you got the Lovers card. And so I wonder if in this there is not some relationship that will help you um, share your gifts and release any of that self-criticism or self-doubt, or make those final adjustments. So there might be another person that is here to help you. The Lovers can also be a choice. So, what this might be saying is that for you Pisces risings, that you might, that what you're going to need to do is make a choice. So, you're being asked to share something of yourself in a reciprocal arrangement with divine guidance, with all of that. You're being asked to share something that might bring up there we go, some some judgment, or require some alteration, or something that might feel hard. um, and maybe you're being asked to make a choice about that. Like, I am willing to do this. It is important enough for me to share this piece of me, this piece of my family, this piece of my home, this piece of my heredity, there we go, to share whatever that is. There might be some strong enough um, you might have to make a choice. You might have to say, I am brave enough to face whatever judgment there is, or to make whatever tweaks I need to make this choice that is really important to me. That, or maybe you need to make this choice in order to move on, to do any of these things, to move into this next chapter. So choice, partner, something along those lines. The universe is asking you to step into during this Gemini new moon, to really embrace the energy. So, what is the Wild Mystic Oracle inviting you to do? And like, I did not stage this. This is kind of funny, or ironic, I guess. You, Pisces rising, got the seahorses, and it says family. So interesting that this new moon is in your fourth house, which can be about family of origin. So the Wild Mystic Guidebook says about the seahorse. It represents family, be it found family or blood family. This card is symbolic of family in the essence, as an accepting and safe place, full of allies, protectors, and friends. It does not dictate what a family should or shouldn't be beyond a group where you feel loved. The seahorse signifies unconditional love, affection, and care, and safety It indicates nurturing, development, and acceptance. It is a healing card whereby others around you are doing the healing rather than you healing yourself. So that's interesting. So, maybe this Six of Pentacles is like you can give a gift to somebody else that's going to help them heal in a way that might feel a little vulnerable, might feel like you have to be kind of like, stepping out. But yeah, so it might be about healing other people, not necessarily focusing on yourself. Um, it is an act of defending those we love from harm and hurt and protecting them with love and care. It is also a potent card for fertility or a symbolic new member of the family entering your life. So that could be interesting. Like fourth house makes sense that it could be the fifth house is what we usually think of as children, but the fourth house could be some kind of like re-entry or some, maybe you open up this part of yourself or start to share this gift or tell this story that has come to you through your lineage, and it brings new people into your life. So yeah, Wild Mystic is the seahorse, the family. All right, Pisces rising, I hope this was helpful. If it was, would you please give me a like? Subscribe if you have not already done that. That helps people find my channel. It helps me share my message and my story, and it lets me know you're out there, and I definitely appreciate that. If this resonates, I would love to hear it. Please leave me a comment so that I know what you're thinking, what you're feeling. So thank you, Pisces rising, and enjoy this beautiful moon cycle. All right, we have come to the end of all of our readings, all of our signs. If you are still here, again, please like and subscribe. I would sure appreciate it. Please comment. Please let me know what you think. And I look forward to finding out how this plays out for all of us, how this Gemini moon cycle shows up. All right. Blessed be. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.